Unmute it. Yeah. I was able to unmute it. And let me do
Hare
the
Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Okay, where is the schedule?
Schedule is in the most recent one. Here for you. Okay, that is not good. So
I think the one that we sent. I think I talked too much on the phone, that's why it's lost.
here. This is not we show.
Okay, good.
Okay, and here we have the video also on.
I think we can turn it to.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
Okay, now it's also on Prabhu. Now you can start. The mic is on. Thank you.
हरे कृष्णा। जय श्रील भक्तिसिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद आविर्भाव तिथि महोत्सव की। श्रील भक्तिसिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर महाराज की। So we'd like to welcome all the devotees to this virtual festival that we are celebrating for the appearance of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. So the program schedule for today would be as follows. We would have a bhajan at 6:30 p.m. sung by Her Grace Bhadra Bharati Mataji, which would be streamed from her house directly. At the same time, we are going to do a bhoga offering for Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. At 7 p.m., there is going to be an arati and kirtan for Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Following that, at 7:30 p.m., His Grace Rasikendra Prabhu is going to enlighten us on the life and precepts of Saraswati Thakur. At the end of the class, at 8:15 p.m., we are going to offer Pushpanjali to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and we would encourage you, all devotees at your houses and homes, to offer your Pushpanjalis mentally or to the screen with real flowers. Hare Krishna. So without further ado, we would like to start the program. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj ki jai.
Yoga hasn't been offered, we need to cover it for now.
Prabhu, hold. It's on.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Bhaktisiddhanta Mataji and family, for the wonderful Kirtan offering. At this time, we are going to have Arati and Kirtan. Hare Krishna. Now we are going to have Arati and Kirtan. It's going to last for 7:30 p.m. and then we have class. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Amrita Prabhu, for sponsoring this festival. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's determination bless on all of us. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I did, but Prabhu's saying that only, Prabhu's saying that it's only Saraswati. So I did.
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Rama, Radhe Radhe, Radha Rama, Radhe Radhe, Radha Rama, Radhe Radhe, Jaya Radha Radhe, Radhe Radhe, Radha Radhe, Radhe Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur. Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki Jai.
श्रीमान अभय चरण भक्ति स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की
Jai.
इस्कॉन संस्था प्रवासी जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की
Jai.
श्रीमान अभय चरण श्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की
Jai.
इस्कॉन गोविंद की
Jai.
जय श्रीराम भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती आविर्भाव तिथि महामहोत्सव की
Jai.
जय श्री शांति
Jai.
जय कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद के
Jai.
श्री राधा गोवर्धन के
Jai.
श्री वृंदावन धाम की
Jai.
माधव धाम की
Jai.
गंगा माई की जमुना माई की
Jai.
दीपगंज श्री महारानी की
Jai.
हरिनाम संकीर्तन की
Jai.
जगत कृष्ण भगवान की
Jai.
वंदे।
Hari Hari Bol. All glories to this. Yeah. Oh.
Hare Krishna. Now, His Grace Rasikendra Prabhu is going to enlighten us on the life and precepts of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Rasikendra Prabhu, His Grace, he needs no introduction to this community. But for those who might not know, he is a very sincere and dedicated disciple of His Holiness Krishna Goswami Maharaj. Some of you might know that Prabhu is taking care of Radhanil Madhava's Tulsi times. He's doing a lot of preaching along with his good wife and the grace Bhaktisiddhanta Mataji. So, without further ado, we would like to request His Grace Rasikendra Prabhu to please enlighten us on Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's pastimes and teachings. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Tamal Krishna Goswami Niti Name Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktisiddhanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirbhishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desita Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shivarshavanavi Devi Daitaya Kripabdaya Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayine Prabhave Namaha Adurya Ujjvala Premadya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddha Apasiddhanta Dvantaharine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today we're going to be speaking about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, of course everybody know, is the Siksha Guru and the Diksha Guru of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur appeared in this world in 1874, February 6, during the Krishna Paksha, the waning moon, on the 5th day of the waning moon, in the month of Govinda, the Gaudiya month of Govinda. So Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we have our own way we describe our months. In the Hindu calendar is in the month of Falgun, he appeared, the holy land of Jagannath Puri. And so how many years has it been? 1874, so that's 26 plus another 21, that's 147 years ago. Am I right to say that? Yeah. So actually, in the grand scale of things, it's difficult to imagine such a personality like Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, or for that matter, such a personality like Srila Prabhupada, appeared in such recent times. 147 years, India was in the grip of the British rule. And so many Indians, especially in Bengal at that time, were kind of a little disgruntled with the so-called very rigid and very superstitious and meaningless rituals. So they were aspiring for some Western thoughts, some more universal concept of humanity. Of course, Bengal was considered to be like the intellectual seed. Of course, there are different parts of India, but Bengal was one of the most famous intellectual, the intelligentsia. Great movements arose from Bengal, you know, and great philosophers appeared. So, of course, prior to that, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the biological father of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, had appeared, and he single-handedly revived Gaudiya Vaishnavism from its dark days. Of course, Vaishnavism can never technically be covered, but from our vision, due to the upper sampradayas, there were so many upper sampradayas. You know, sampradaya means that which, you know, follows tradition. Upper sampradaya means that is away from tradition. So there were so many hodgepodge beliefs which came to be known as Gaudiya Vaishnavism. There are many, you know, there's this owls, the bowls, the Goranga Nagari, the Sakhi Beki, like that. There are many. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur appeared in a time where he had to single-handedly face these people and kind of try to suppress and cut them down, because they were bringing such disrepute to the spotless movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it were very difficult times. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur prayed to Lord Jagannath, my Lord, you have chosen me to do this mission. I'm not capable of this. So you please send me a ray of Vishnu. From your own body, you please give me a son, such a personality who will really help me and continue this. I'm in my own, I'm not able to do this. So like that, Lord Jagannath fulfilled his prayer, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur appeared in the holy land of Puri, that same place where Mahaprabhu spent 18 years of his life, 18 years of his, towards the end of his pastimes. So, of course, we know all the famous incident, you know, how he was born. He was born with an umbilical cord, like a Brahmin thread. And his father named him Bimala Prasad. So he was known as Bimala Prasad Datta, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur's familial name was Kedarnath Datta. So there was Bimala Prasad. Bimala Prasad means the mercy of Bimala Devi, who is the internal potency of Lord Jagannath. So it's very significant. We'll find in his pranam mantras some of this understanding. And also, before the prasad goes out to everybody, it goes to Bimala, Jagannath Prasad. Then it gets distributed. So it's also a deep understanding that way. So, and then during his Annaprashan ceremony, of course, we know there was the Rath Yatra festival, and the cart stopped and would not move in front of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's residence. And the mother took the opportunity to ascend the cart and go and place the child in front of Lord Jagannath, and miraculously a garland fell on the child. So it is another indication. And also astrologically, when the astrologer read the chart and saw the child, he saw all the lakshanas of a Mahapurusha in this child, and said this child will spread pure devotional teachings to the Lord all over the world. So we'll find these are the early days. I'm going to share with you all. If you let me share, whoever, I'm going to share some some early pictures of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, because our time is, who's managing? Can I be allowed to share? Hare Krishna. Okay. I'm going to share some pictures. Wait, hold on. Need to bring up those pictures first. Wait. I should have opened those, but this is, can you all see this picture?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. This was his sannyas days. I'm going to show some early days of his life. Can you all see this? Wait, let me pull
Yes, Prabhu, we can see this. Thank
okay,
you.
so this is Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati as a child, very young child. And then this was when, it's a family picture with Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is sitting to the rightmost at the end, right to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur.
We are not seeing that picture.
Oh, you're not? I thought I'm sharing the screen.
It is stuck on that.
We are seeing the sannyasi picture, but
Oh, still, you're seeing the sannyas picture. Okay, how's that possible? Thought I'm sharing. Okay. Okay, all right. So some of these early pictures. So let's get. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when he had this child, his sole purpose was how he can train this child to help him spread the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, bring the purity back, and fight all these upper sampradayas, which were constantly harassing the path of pure Gaudiya Vaishnavism, and how to start a wide-scale distribution of Mahaprabhu's teachings, and to establish the supreme position of a Vaishnava. So, and these are the things he really wanted to achieve, and to discover what it means, the character of a Vaishnava, because people had practically lost faith in the Gaudiya Vaishnavas at that time because of all the atrocities and all the polluted activities which was going on in that period in the name of Vaishnavism. So we'll start with chanting this praise. Of course, Prabhupada very wonderfully glorified Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur as very famous. You all know, adore that his Vyasa Puja composition. He said what really pleased Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur when he wrote, absolute is sentient, you have proved. Impersonal calamity, you have moved. Actually, that was the original composition of Srila Prabhupada. And then when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta see this, he was so pleased with this. He said, whatever Abhay Charan writes, you'll have to publish. To get the endorsement of some personality like Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, I mean, it's no easy feat. But this shows that Prabhupada has really understood the mind of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And actually later down the line, when Prabhupada had established Iskcon, some devotee found this composition, his poem, his Vyasa Puja poem addressed to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And he went to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I found this amazing poem. He said, yeah, was composed by me. Then Prabhupada asked him to read. Then when he came to this verse, he said, absolute is sentient, you have proved. Impersonal calamity, though has moved. Prabhupada say, change it, that impersonal calamity you have removed. So Prabhupada understood that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, through the medium of Srila Prabhupada, not only moved impersonal calamity, but actually he's removed the calamity of impersonalism. So often we find, sometimes we struggle to make devotees. And sometimes we even find there's a lot of impersonalism in our movement, in the sense that we stop to think about others suffering. We stop to even think about the welfare of devotees. These are all part of impersonalism. So personalism means you start seeing people as person, people have feelings, people have character, people have natures, people have attributes. So, and people have inclinations, people have affection, people want love. So this is everything about personalism. But ultimately, all this goes up to Krishna, that because Krishna is a person, therefore we are all persons. So therefore impersonalism is actually the greatest insult to Krishna. Imagine telling Krishna, Krishna, you're nothing. You are nameless, you are formless. This is such a horrible insult to Krishna. Therefore, impersonalism is the greatest calamity. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur mission was to eradicate this impersonalism, this Kevala Advaita or Mayavada philosophy. So let's read his pranam mantras. There's so much to cover. We got very little time. Namaste, of course, Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine. Okay, so he's given the name Bhaktisiddhanta because he brought the real, he brought the Siddhanta of Bhakti, and he saw this, all of Vedic literature from the viewpoint of Bhaktisiddhanta. The Siddhanta, ultimately Bhakti is the topmost. Okay, so I offer my respectful obeisances to His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at His lotus feet. Sri Varshabhanavi Devi Dayitaya Kripabdaya Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayine Prabhave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances to Varshabhanavi Devi Dayita Das. Okay, that means Varshabhanavi Devi is Radharani, the daughter of Vrishabhanu, and Varshabhanavi Devi Dayita Das means one who is also considered to be very dear to Srimati Radharani. And Krishna, Varshabhanavi Devi Dayita. Dayita means also Krishna. Varshabhanavi Devi Dayita, one who's very dear to Krishna, and he's the servant of that person who's very dear to Srimati Radharani, who's most dear to Srimati Radharani is Krishna. Servant of the lover of Srimati Radharani. Kripabdaye, who's an ocean of mercy. Okay, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's mercy was so profound. And therefore he thought that all other considerations are secondary to the supermost consideration of giving Krishna consciousness to everybody. So when Srila Prabhupada went in front of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said, you boys, you look like an intelligent boy. Why don't you preach the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? And Prabhupada at that time was part of the Gandhi movement, of the Indian liberation movement to liberate India. And Prabhupada said, who will listen to the message of your Lord Gauranga? Of course, Prabhupada grew up in a Vaishnava family, so he knows Lord Chaitanya. And say, who is going to listen when India is under the subjugation of the British? He said, this is a temporary consideration. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta defeated Srila Prabhupada. He said, today India will be, India's subjugation under India, British. It could be in the future some other people, or in the future, India could subjugate the British. So these are all temporary considerations. The most urgent need is the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is not time bound. Just like when a house is on fire, you don't sit around and talk about other considerations. You want to put out the fire first. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur saw such intense urgency. And Prabhupada took that really to heart. Because Prabhupada saw such an intense urgency to spread Krishna consciousness. He came in 1965, left in 77. In 12 years, what Prabhupada achieved was unprecedented, inconceivable. How is it possible? Only if Prabhupada saw that this is the most urgent thing. If Prabhupada said, oh, this is not really urgent, this is second priority, third priority, fourth priority. Just like for you, for all of us, paying the bills may be the most urgent thing. If not, we may be losing home. So you'll do everything to make sure you don't lose your home to pay your mortgage. And therefore, your activities are actually governed by what is most urgent. So therefore, you can see in the life of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, the life of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, life of Srila Prabhupada, they saw that the most urgent thing is to give Krishna consciousness, the holy name, to people. Spread. So at the rate Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he translated the Vaishnava scriptures at the rate Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur did, the rate Srila Prabhupada did. These are all indicative of what is most urgent. So Prabhupada imbibed the spirit. So he was an ocean of mercy because he was constantly thinking, how can this people be saved from the cruel grip of Maya? Okay. So Kripabdaye, Krishna Sambandha Vijnana, and he came to teach us the relationship with Krishna, the science of the relationship of Krishna. It's a very, very deep science. It's not some sentimental thing. It's not like when you go to the temple, you chant Hare Krishna and, and then you take prasadam. No, this thing is a very, very deep science. The holy name of Krishna is such a deep science. The relationship with Krishna is such a deep science. The Srimad Bhagavatam is such a deep science. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur really systematically established this as very, very scientific. Just like how Srila Prabhupada always said, this is not some sentimental thing. This is a science. Okay? Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayine, who gave this Krishna, who's deliverer of this science. Unto the master, we pay our most respectful and submissive obeisances. So this is his Pranam Mantra, Shri Varshabhanavi Devi, Daitaya Kripabdaye, Krishna Sambandha Vijnana, Dayine Prabhave Namaha. Then his next Pranam Mantra is Madhurya Ujjvala Premadhya, Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida, Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, the personified energy of Sri Chaitanya's mercy, Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti. So Lord Chaitanya's mercy, he is the personified energy, the personification, the incarnation of Mahaprabhu's mercy. Can you imagine the position of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur? He is the personification of the mercy potency of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So whoever he went to speak, even though how heavily he spoke, nobody felt that this person is chastising me out of some arrogance. They felt that this person really cared to deliver me. So therefore, no matter how heavy the message came down, we knew that it is for my own good. Just like Prabhupada, the same thing. Because he is the mercy personification, people knew that this person, he really is doing that because he is so merciful, he wants to deliver me. Okay, see, Madhurya Ujjvala Premadhya, and then he delivered the exquisite, the pinnacle of bhakti, that which is embellished, that which is saturated with the conjugal mood. Very, very tough. Imagine a personality preaching like that, but at the same time, he was able to deliver Mahaprabhu's mercy, the topmost teachings of Mahaprabhu's mercy, and deliver in such a way that nobody walked away thinking, oh, this is some nice erotic philosophy. Because he was the personification of Mahaprabhu's mercy, and he was the superlatively pure person, where even when he spoke about the highest teachings, people felt most uplifted. No way it came across as mundane dealings. Madhurya Ujjvala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida, and in the line of Srila Rupa Goswami, very strictly following the dhara of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who is considered to be the foremost follower of Srila Rupa Goswami. Madhurya Ujjvala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute. You are the personification of Sri Chaitanya's mercy. I offer my respectful obeisance unto you, the personified energy of Sri Chaitanya's mercy, who deliver devotional service which is enriched with conjugal love of Radha and Krishna, coming exactly in the line of revelation of Srila Rupa Goswami. This is a monumental task. Okay. And then he also cut down all kind of philosophies which was opposed to the devotional service preached by Srila Rupa Goswami. That was his final mantra, pranam mantra. Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine. Namaste Rupanuga Viruddha Apasiddhanta Dvanta Harine. I offer my respectful obeisance unto you, who are the personified teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Namaste. Prabhupada sings that very beautifully. I don't know if you all have heard Prabhupada singing the pranam mantras of the acharyas. So Prabhupada says, Namaste Gauravani Shimurtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddhapa Siddhanta Dvanta Harine. So I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are the personified teachings of Lord Chaitanya. You are the deliverer of the fallen souls. You do not tolerate any statements which is against the teachings of devotional service enunciated by Srila Rupa Goswami. So when we chant our pranam mantras to our previous acharyas, we have to really see why were these pranam mantras composed and what is the meaning. And we have to study them very, very deeply. And then we can get access to these personalities by really studying this pranam mantras. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur toiled day and night, hardly slept. And after his father left, of course, and at some point in time, we can understand that these four personalities were coexisting in this world. Jagannath Das Babaji, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Gaurakishore Das Babaji Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So it's quite an amazing thing if you think about it. That these devotees actually had some interaction at some point in time, all four of them. So it's a very, very important period in Gaudiya Vaishnava history. So after, of course, another great contribution of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is his establishing Gaudiya Vaishnavism in a very, very philosophical and intellectual way to the intelligent class of people. So, of course, he was the first one who brought in the concept, I would say concept, the sannyas ashram, because after Mahaprabhu left, during Mahaprabhu's times, there were some sannyasis, few sannyasis, but after time, they were all just Babajis and Grihastas. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur introduced this Tridandi sannyas back into Gaudiya Vaishnavism. And he took many aspects of this Tridandi sannyas from the Ramanuja Sampradaya. So he studied all the Sampradaya very, very deeply. And he was such a great authority on Vaishnavism. Even scholars who thought they were great authorities, when they saw his presentation and his understanding of all the different schools of thought and Vaishnavism, they were just completely said, this person is just a walking encyclopedia. He was so erudite. So he was so erudite that he could remember things. When he read something, he had almost he had a photographic memory. And in his earliest days, school, when he was going to school, most of the time he was spending in the library reading about different philosophers. So he had established at that time an August assembly of celibate. So he had some friends together. They formed an association called, I think they were formed, called the Kumarachira Sangha or something like that. An assembly of celibate youths. And only he was able to keep his vow, and he never married. The rest of them all became householders. So it's very, very determined person. Of course, we know when he was like 3 or 4 years old, very young child. Father had brought some mangoes to offer to the Lord, but before he was offered, he took the mango and he said, this is mine. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur mildly chastised him that you should never enjoy, you should never take anything which is first not offered to Krishna first. So that left such a deep impression in him. And he said that I will not eat a ripe mango. Actually, it is said that he ate green mangoes. He ate like mango chutney, but he will never eat a ripe mango. I found out from Bhakti Vikas Maharaj's book. I don't know if you all have this. So very wonderful. This is just one of 3. Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhav. Strongly recommend you all read this. You'll get really an understanding of the life of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and his great contribution, unparalleled contribution. And we can understand that how potent his words were. How can we understand how potent his words were? Prabhupada met Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur a handful of times, maybe 5 or 6 times. Okay? But he gave two instructions to Srila Prabhupada. He didn't even give like sat down Prabhupada and said, these are my instructions to you. While walking and conversing, he said, there will be fire in the mud. You know, I'd rather break the temple and sell the marble. I'll dismantle the temple, take the marble, sell the marble and print books. He said, if you get money, print books. He just said, even he said, if you get money, he not say you have to print, if you get money, print books. And then he said, spread this teachings in the Western world in the English language. So these are the two instructions in passing. And Prabhupada took it to heart. Those two instructions, he took it to heart, and see where we are now. We are in Iskcon, such a worldwide movement, unprecedented in Vaishnava history, still continuing to expand. Why? Because the seed was in Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur's instruction. So therefore, Prabhupada always said that the words of the spiritual master is so potent. It also contains the Shakti. Just by following the instructions contain the potency for you to fulfill the instructions. Therefore, we sing every morning, Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriya Aikya. Arna Koriho Mane Asa, Narottam Das Thakur says, let the word of the spiritual master become one with my heart. Let me not have any other aspirations. Prabhupada took it to heart. And we also find that any devotees who took Srila Prabhupada's word to heart in Iskcon, their success is unprecedented. Not only Srila Prabhupada's word, those devotees who take the word of the spiritual master, even multiple generations down the line, will carry the potency, unparalleled potency. Prabhupada said, if you just stick to my instructions, you will get potency to fulfill more than what I've achieved. Prabhupada said to his disciples like that. If you think what I've achieved is great, but there's no limit to the success and the achievement of a devotee who follows the word of his spiritual master and try his very best to follow his instruction. Prabhupada was the living example. Of course, Prabhupada was considered some grihastha, unprominent disciple in the Gaudiya Math. You know, nobody thought Prabhupada could do anything. Oh, he's just doing some business, this, that. They were very critical. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when the time comes, Abhay Babu will do what is needed. So people couldn't understand, how could Abhay Babu? And then one day, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was in the midst of his disciples. Then somebody asked, or was it somebody asked, or he said, who's going to spread this mission? Then everybody felt silent. There will be one person who will follow, who will spread this mission all over the world. And when he said that, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati glance fell on Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur knew that this is the person. Because some of his disciples crossed the ocean. They went to London, they tried, they kept Krishna in a closet. They were very nervous to spread this philosophy, thinking that, oh, what are these idol worshippers? But Prabhupada had no such reservations. Right in the middle of the century, he opened temples, he established Radha Krishna, Gauranitai. Unprecedented, because he had complete faith in the words of the spiritual master, in the holy name of Krishna. So this is all the seed was planted by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So we owe tremendous debt to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. We owe tremendous debt to Srila Gaurakishore Das Babaji Maharaj. Of course, we owe tremendous debt to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and all the previous acharyas, because all the acharyas come and they make tremendous contribution for our own purpose. Okay, I'm going to read something here. Where did I see that? And it was such a contribution, is unparalleled. He established 64 months. He start for the purposes of preaching. He really did a lot of innovations. A sannyasi wearing a coat and suit and boots was unheard of, but he made his disciples, sannyasi disciples, wear that. So when you go and talk to the British, they will take you more seriously. Okay, so I'm going to make who the host now. Iskcon of Houston should be made host, huh? Let me see. Okay. Okay, all right. So we can see, where was I? What was I saying? I lost my line of thought.
You wanted to share some pictures, Prabhu, some media.
No, that was early. That was early. Okay. So wait,
He had unprecedented.
Prabhupada, wait, let's see, Prabhupada has written something here. Just seeing this before that. Can't seem to find it. So his contribution is that he cut down all the upper sampradayas. He established so many mats. He considered books, yes, the printing press as non-different than Sankirtan. Sometimes we think, okay, this concept of Sankirtan used to be just chanting, going out and chanting, but the wider Sankirtan, the bigger is the printing of books. So he considered his printing press very, very sacred. Just like the deity is so sacred, the printing press, that which prints the Krishna conscious teachings and philosophy and practice and Siddhanta, equally sacred. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur taught him the printing. So he learned from his father, and he printed. And he engaged his disciples every day, so many things. So they will be printing one magazine every day. So somebody asked, what is there, about to print a newspaper every day about Krishna and his activities? He said, given a chance, every second we can print a newspaper about Krishna. Every second is a different newspaper. That much, there's no end to the limit of how much you can glorify Krishna. All right. So Prabhupada said, I learned everything from my father, my biological father, but I learned how to print books from my spiritual master. So this book distribution, the spreading of the Krishna consciousness movement was foremost. In fact, he even, when they were building temples, the temples were basically places where his disciples used to live and go out and distribute books. The archana was a secondary function, but the real function was to keep the devotees in such good association, they become very enlivened to go out and preach. So therefore, he also kept his mutt, Prabhupada said, in debt all the time, so they won't become lazy. And when somebody even went out to distribute 2 or 3 books, he became so pleased with that disciple. And he was the epitome of tolerance, the epitome of humility. And even people who had big complaints about everything, when they go in front of him, they can't say anything bad about anybody. So that's the type of personality. In fact, Prabhupada was also like that. Devotees have heard say, so I had so many complaints to go and tell Prabhupada, but when I went in front of Prabhupada, I realized, wow, these are all so petty. These are all so petty. There's so many more important things. Okay, so I think my time is up. Am I right? Is that the schedule?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhu. So we would like to thank His Grace Srila Prabhu for a wonderful discourse on the lives and precepts of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you all very much. Sorry I didn't give time for questions and comments. I kind of got carried away with this. So what is the next program? Pushpanjali?
Yes, so now we are going to offer Pushpanjali. The idea is that now we are going to project the Pushpanjali prayers as they are chanted, and we are not going to do a repetition of the pranam mantras. We are all going to chant together, so it's going to be on everyone's screen, and then we'll progress with the Pushpanjali, and then the devotees who are here in the temple are going to do the actual Pushpa offering. And you may have to transfer your control to Vrindavan, Prabhu.
I think it's already got control, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, so we'll wait for the pranam mantras to show up, or let's wait. Vrinda, if you're hearing us.
Yes, you can go ahead and get started. I'm getting it set to share.
Thank you. Thank you. So he said to start off.
Oh, we want to thank Amarendra Prabhu for sponsoring today's festival. It's $251 for today's festival, even though it's a remote festival. There's bhoga offered and flowers and all that. So we like to thank Amarendra Prabhu for sponsoring.
Hari Bol. Thank you, Prabhuji. And wish you so much, Amarendra Prabhu, for your kind donation. So we'll start the Pushpanjali now. Om Ajnana-Timirandhasya Jnananjana-Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Shri Caitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamanyam Dadati Swapadatikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sarajatam Sarvadharanatham Vitam Sajivam Sadhaitam Sadhutam Parijanasaitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sadharanarita Shri Shakamitam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Vasya Sadesvarine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Namane Sri Varshavani Devi Lalita Kripadayi Krishna Sambandha Vidyana Daine Bhave Namaha Madhurya Sematya Sri Rupa Bhakta Sri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Sri Muttage Dinadarne Rupa Bhakta Siddhantarine Namo Gaurashoraya Sakshat Bhakti Vipralambhara Sambhave Padam Jayate Namaha Namo Vinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupa Bhagavayate Gauravidbhava Bhumestvam Nideshta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannathaya Te Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Krita Sindhubhyadevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha नमो महावराण्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरविषे नमः पंचतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि कृष्णशक्तिकम् हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते जयतां सुरतौ बंधो मम नंदमते गति मत्सर्वस्वपदां भोजौ रागानन्दनमोहनम् दिव्य वृंदारण्य कल्पद्रुमाधव श्रीमद्रत्नाकर सिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद्राधा श्रीलगोविंद देव प्रेष्ठानि श्रीमानव स्मरामि श्रीमान रसरसारम्भे वंशीवटतस्तुतः दर्शन वेणुसुनय गोपे गोपीनाथस्य सुनः तत्तगाञ्चन गौरवी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम हरे हरे नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमद् भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती नामिने कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान
रागिने प्रभवे नमः। ईश पुष्पांजलि।
नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमद् भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती नामिने शिवाशुभारती देवी दयिताय कृपामये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञानदायिने प्रभवे नमः माधवोज्ज्वल प्रेमादेश रूपान्तवर्तिदा श्रीगौरकरुणाशक्ति ग्रहाय नमोस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुगविरुद्धापसिद्धान्तद्वन्द्वहरिणे
ईश पुष्पांजलि।
नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमद्भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती नामिने श्रीवासुदेवी देवी वैताय कृपाभये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञानदायिने प्रभवे नमः नाथोज्ज्वल प्रेमाढ्य श्री रूपानुगविरुद्धापसिद्धान्तकरुणाशक्तिग्रहाय नमोस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुगविरुद्धापसिद्धान्तहारिणे एष पुष्पाञ्जलिः श्री श्रील भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी महाराज की
जय।
भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी महाराज की महोत्सव की
जय। हरि हरि बोल।
हरे कृष्णा। जय श्रील भक्तिसिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
जय
श्रील भक्तिसिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
जय
श्रील भक्तिसिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
जय
जय
जय गौर प्रेमानंदी।
हरि हरि बोल।
हरि हरि
Hare Krishna. So we would like to thank all the devotees for joining our virtual festival. We would like to thank His Renowned Gary who's nicely managing on the back end, and everyone else for their service. We
Hare
also like to thank again Prabhuji for sponsoring.
boga. So who cooked the boga?
Oh yes, we also like to thank Baba Hari Prabhu and Service Mother for the wonderful offerings they made. And also special thanks to Service Padanjali Mataji and Rasikendra Prabhu for preparing the nice beautiful cake that you saw that we were virtually streaming. We didn't take it out, we wanted to see that cake and feel tempted, but not and taste it. But so that cake was prepared by Padanjali Mataji, and Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj's favorite dish, rasam, was prepared by Rasikendra Prabhu, and of course other Bengali.
My wife did, not me, my wife did.
Okay, Mataji Rasikendra was somebody saying that.
And I think Mother Manohari also made some of the favorite Bengali preparations.
She did.
Yeah.
Neem Begul, Bhuna Khichdi, and some other favorite recipes, dishes of Srila Sarasvati. So we offer it for his pleasure. I hope we all enjoyed the festival, and hope the mercy of Srila Saraswati be on all of us, so that we can advance in spiritual life and please our spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada and the acharyas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you all very much. Hare
Thank you all.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki,
Jai.
Prabhupada ki,
Jai.
Gaura Premanandi, Hare Hare.
Hari Hari Bol. Thank you all.